Testing, 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 testing. Testing.
One? Oh, thank you. I know there's a lot of chatter in here today, but we are going to try to create a worshipful space for the next 10 minutes with our gathering music. And we are going to do that by doing a hymn sing. And we're going to start with number 180, Alhamdulillah. Yes, the C and B flat. C to B flat. C and B flat. The first one is called Alhamdulillah. It's a Sufi chant written by Loudon Matthew. What we're going to do for the hymn sing is do hymns from different cultures, different religions, and different parts of the world. So this first one is written by a jazz musician from San Francisco who converted to Sufism and wrote this chant, Alhamdulillah. Number 180, 180, I think. Is that right? Goes like this. It's just Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. If the choir wants to stand up and help us out. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. Sing it again. Alhamdulillah, 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 Alhamdulillah. Now let's do it in two parts, parting to my left. Thank you. Now we're going to move over to Japan and go to number 177. And this is, today is the first day of spring, I think at like 11:30 this morning. And also at the start of the Cherry Blossom Festival in a lot of places. So this song is celebrates the cherry blossoms, the Japanese Cherry Blossom Festival, Sakura. So even though it is in a foreign language, the slow song and the syllables are just like you would sing them in English. So we're going to give the Sakura, give We'll sing the Japanese verse first and then the English verses. 177. Sakura, Sakura, Yayoi no sora wa miwatasi kagiri. Azumi ga fumoka, Thank you. Now can we go to number 182? So we're going to go to the Philippines now. It's Filipino, the beauty in a life, is it right? Oh, the beauty in a life that
Good morning. Welcome to the Community Church of Chapel Hill Unitarian Universalist. My name is George Thompson, and I'm a member of the Worship Associates Ministry here at the church. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you arrived at this beloved place, you are welcome here. I especially want to welcome any guests and newcomers to our church and call attention to the special note for you on the back of the order of service. Welcome, guests and newcomers. I want to mention a few things to keep in mind. We are masking inside on Sunday mornings. After the service, we invite you to gather in two different areas. The courtyard out there is a mask optional space for fellowship where coffee and tea will be available. The area behind the Jones building is a space where masking is mandatory. Tabling will be held inside the Jones building. Rachel Rose will host a virtual coffee hour on Zoom at 11:30 this morning. We are not currently passing the offering baskets, so if you want to make a donation, please place your donation in the offering baskets as you enter or exit the sanctuary. Today is a Share the Plate Sunday, so if you're writing a check, please note on the memo line which project your donation will go to. Online donations are also greatly appreciated. When you go to our website to donate online, along the top on the right, you will see a button that says More. If you click that, you will find out how to make your online donation. And also, I've been asked to mention that there is a pledge box on the little table on the way out with some forms for you to fill out if you don't already have one. Or if you have one filled out, please put it in the box. And finally, if you have not already done so, now is a really good time to turn off your phone or anything that might make more noise so we can maintain a worshipful experience. I'd like to invite Jill Baker and Jane Provan to talk about this morning's Share the Plate.
Morning. Hi. We are Jill Baker and Jane Provan. We are the co-chairs of the Share the Plate Steering Committee of this church. SDP, as we are known, is the group of people who oversee the financial outreach of Community Church. At one time, our charitable giving was part of the annual budget, but if there was a shortfall in our funds, our giving was cut back. Nonetheless, the groups we supported had needs that were important to be met, and in 2009, it was decided that a more dependable way of raising funds is for representatives of groups to make appeals directly to the congregation.
The causes we support are nonprofit organizations that provide food and housing for the needy and homeless populations, address social justice issues, support the elderly, and support ecological projects. Some of the groups we have supported are the Interfaith Council, Habitat for Humanity, Planned Parenthood, Table, Immigrant Justice Initiative, Shelter Neck, and Charles House, and many more.
We are proud to say that since 2009, you have donated about $450,000, averaging $38,000 a year. But since the beginning of the pandemic, our collections have gone down significantly. In 2021, total collections were just under $21,000.
So we have a few goals in talking to you this morning. First is to help you understand the importance of STP, that the word share refers to the sharing of our abundance with people in need. Secondly, we want to encourage you to submit applications for organizations that are consistent with our UU values. Next is for you to consider joining our committee as we make decisions about which groups we should support. We meet twice a year and then guide people through the process of soliciting donations. Lastly, we ask you to give generously as we continue our community, to serve our community here and beyond our walls.
Now, here is a Share the Plate.
Thank you. A few weeks ago, I mentioned to you the Unitarian Service Committee and the work that they did during World War II in helping refugees. Well, now the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee is helping Ukrainian refugees by providing food, shelter, transportation, and other kinds of aid, not only for the refugees, but also to assist aid workers in their risky work. Here at home in Chapel Hill, there's not a whole lot that we can do hands-on, but one of the things that we can do is to provide some of the financial resources that they need for those many ways of helping the refugees. So I encourage you to make a donation. You may make it to the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. Some information in the printed order of service or online is available with a link to that. Or if you prefer to make a donation to the charity of your choice. But it's nice to uphold some of our own projects, our own service committee, because they are doing good work abroad. So I encourage you to consider this particular Share the Plate, and as they said, feel free to make a pledge now with a check or go online. Thank you. I think we have some of our own angels singing in the morning. Thank you. I occasionally hear people say, not typically Unitarian Universalists, but others, say that Unitarian Universalism has no there. And I think that what they mean by saying that is that we have so many sources that we draw from that we don't really have anything of our own. We just pull what we like from other people's beliefs. I don't think that's quite true. We do draw from other sources, but we don't copy those sources. We're not imitating those other traditions or wisdom ideas. We draw from many sources because we, as I have said before, we don't believe that there is one truth for all people in all places and for all time. We often say that revelation is not sealed. In other words, new ideas can emerge at any moment, and we can change our ideas depending upon our experiences and what is being revealed to us in many different ways. And so to deny the wisdom that exists out there and to only look at one particular path just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to most of us. For me, one of the significant theirs that we have is our 7 principles. They are our guide, they're our ethical guide, they are our behavior, our aspirational living. And there are 7. The first begins with a sense of individual dignity and respect, and it moves through an arc to the larger world, the community. We are actually, in UU circles, considering adding an 8th principle to those tried and true 7. And that 8th principle has an underlying message of affirming our work towards diverse and multicultural communities, to creating a truly beloved community. And at this summer's General Assembly, some of that particular principle will be considered. Today, we're going to be drawing from several sources, as the title of this service might imply. In the spirit of learning from other wisdom, we're going to be diving into some of Hinduism's ancient texts. And our chalice lighting begins that by sharing some of the words from the oldest known written down ancient religious text. This is from the Hindu Rig Veda. It is one of 4 texts collectively called the Vedas, which is the primary influence upon Hinduism. And so George will lead us while I light our chalice. The words are in your order of service.
Please join me in reading the words if you wish. Let us be united. Let us speak in harmony. Let our minds apprehend alike. Common be our prayer. Common be the end of our assembly. Common be our resolution. Common be our deliberations. Alike be our feelings. Unified be our hearts. Common be our intentions. Perfect be our unity. And now please stand in body or in spirit and join in singing the opening hymn, number 44, We Sing of Golden Mornings.
Sing of golden morning.
and come again. We sing the Lord courageous, like youthful eager mind. We sing the harps undaunted, of friendly ways and kind. We sing the roses sweet, beneath the deep house rose. We sing the aspens splendor, whose beauty round us flows.
The first mention of Indra's jeweled net can be found in one of the 4 Veda or Hindu sacred texts compiled by roughly 600 BCE. A more detailed description can be found in the following excerpt from the Buddhist Flower Garland Sutra, completed by the middle of the 4th century CE. The idea of the net is foundational to both Vedic Hindu philosophy and Buddhism. This translation from the Sanskrit is by Francis H. Cook from his book, Vaya Buddhism, The Jewel Net of Indra. Far away in the heavenly abode of the great god Indra, there is a wonderful net which has been hung by some cunning artificer in such a manner that it stretches out indefinitely in all directions. In accordance with the extravagant tastes of deities, the artificer has hung a single glittering jewel at the net's every node. And since the net itself is infinite in dimension, the jewels are infinite in number. There hang the jewels, glittering like stars of the first magnitude, a wonderful sight to behold. If we now arbitrarily select one of those jewels for inspection and look closely at it, we will discover that in its polished surface, there are reflected all the other jewels in the net, infinite in number. Not only that, but each of the jewels reflected in this one jewel is also reflecting all of the other jewels, so that the process of reflection is infinite. And now 3 brief quotations. The first by Ralph Waldo Emerson. In that deep force, the last fact behind which analysis cannot go, all things find their common origin. It is one light which beams out of 1,000 stars. It is one soul which animates all. We live in succession, in division, in parts, in particles. Meantime, within man is the soul of the whole, the wise silence, the universal beauty to which every part and particle is equally related, the eternal one. Second, by Carl Sagan, we are the local embodiment of a cosmos grown to self-awareness. We have begun to contemplate our origins. Star Stuff, Pondering the Stars. And last, from Neil deGrasse Tyson, Sagan's disciple and inheritor of the cosmos mantle, we are not simply in the universe, we are part of it. We are born from it.
Three men, a deity, a minister, and a scientist, walk into a celestial cafe. Sounds like the start of a joke, right? This joke form harkens back to the ancient Sumerian Empire. A clay tablet dated to about 1800 BCE features a joke about a dog walking into an inn and asks what's behind the closed doors. You have to be Sumerian to get the joke. An inn typically serves as a brothel. The dog wants to know what's behind closed doors? Yeah. In my imagination, one demoted Hindu god and two deceased American intellectuals meeting in a heavenly cafe is no joke. This particular threesome would see each other as kindred souls and likely greet each other with Namaste. Namaste, or Namaste, depending on your pronunciation, means I bow or bend to you. In India, it is a sign of respect when greeting or departing someone's company. Ancient Vedic Hindu scriptures feature divines meeting one another by placing palms together, bowing, and saying Namaste. Over time, mere mortals began to say this to each other. Now, especially in the Western world, we expand this translation to the divine in me greets the divine in you. Some modern Indians object to what they consider the West's overuse and misuse of that word. They claim average Indians simply mean it as hello, with no religious connotation. Similarly, the English goodbye once meant God be with you, proving the fluidity of language. Objection aside, being a god, Indra would deem it proper to be greeted by Namaste. Ralph Waldo Emerson would too, because the transcendentalist and Unitarian minister believed we carry a spark of the divine within ourselves, and divinity resides in all things. Beliefs informed by his own reading of Vedic scriptures. Carl Sagan, a self-described religious naturalist, once said Hinduism was the only religion that accurately represents the cyclic nature of the cosmos, since creation arises out of destruction, and that Indra's net described the quantum world of physics. Even he might appreciate the greeting. In their own way, the three describe an interconnected universe that ultimately consists of many parts, but one substance. Earlier, you heard a description of Indra's net from a Buddhist text. Buddhist and Hindu traditions both share this foundational metaphor of connectedness and oneness. Imagine the net looking something like this stole. Only Indra's divine creation is infinite and multidimensional, just as the universe appears to be in all directions and infinite. The net is the universe. Nothing exists outside the net. In Hinduism, the foundation or binding unity of the net is called Brahman, a name for the unknowable ultimate reality. At every node or cross point of the net sits a jewel. Each jewel acts like a mirror, reflecting all the other jewels on the net. Although each jewel appears separate, they are considered one because whatever happens to one happens to them all. If you put a red dot on one jewel, all the other jewels would show that red dot. Everything is interconnected like the jewels in the net. Without distinction, they are one. Separateness is an illusion. To further understand this oneness, think of the waves of an ocean. Each wave is separate, but they are part of the whole ocean, indistinguishable and made of the same substance of the whole ocean. Another analogy comes from the late Buddhist teacher Thich Nhat Hanh. He said, clouds in the sky are one with a piece of paper. A cloud brings rain, the rain nurtures a tree, the tree provides pulp, and the pulp makes paper. The cloud exists within the paper, separate but one. Hinduism's many gods and goddesses reflect the one in many too, because they are avatars of the one ultimate reality. Hindus may worship one aspect of this reality, represented by such deities as Shiva, Kali, Brahma, Ganesha, Krishna. But each deity exists within the one whole. And since the whole is divine, every aspect of reality is divine, including you and me. Vedic Hindu philosophy came to America in the mid-1800s and found a ready reception from what became known as the Boston Brahmins, the elite intellectuals of the day, many of whom were Unitarian, including Emerson. Due to increased commercial trade with India and Britain's colonial influence, translations of Sanskrit texts became available in America, and Emerson read them all. He once said of the Hindu Bhagavad Gita, another sacred text, quote, "It was the first of books. It was as if an empire spoke to us, nothing small or unworthy, but large, serene, consistent, the voice of an old intelligence which in another age and climate had pondered and then disposed of the same questions which exercise us." Emerson's crowd, like Henry David Thoreau, Walt Whitman, and Frederick Douglass, embraced Vedic philosophy. Douglass found its message of equality valuable, its concept of the individual's relationship to the world intrigued Thoreau, and Whitman admired its recognition of the multiplicity within a singularity. Due to the prominence of the Boston Brahmins, Vedic ideas had great influence on American culture as a whole, and especially on Unitarianism. Finally, we come to Carl Sagan. I think he harmonizes Indra's jeweled net with current science. He wrote in his book, The Demon-Haunted World, Science as a Candle in the Dark, quote, "In its encounter with nature, science invariably elicits a sense of reverence and awe. The very act of understanding is a celebration of joining, merging, even if on a very modest scale, with the magnificence of the cosmos. Science is not only compatible with spirituality, it is a profound source of spirituality. When we recognize our place in an immensity of light years and the passage of ages, when we grasp the intricacy, beauty, and subtlety of life, then that soaring feeling, that sense of elation and humility combined, it is surely spiritual. The notion that science and spirituality are somehow mutually exclusive does a disservice to both." Further echoing Hindu thought in the television series Cosmos, Sagan said, "The nitrogen in our DNA, the calcium in our teeth, the iron in our blood, and the carbon in our apple pies were made of the interiors of collapsing stars. We are made of star stuff. There's as many atoms in a single molecule of your DNA as there are stars in the typical galaxy. We are, each of us, a little universe. We humans look rather different from a tree. Without a doubt, we perceive the world differently than a tree does. But deep down at the molecular heart of life, the trees and we are essentially one." Different words, but the same idea as cloud paper and Indra's net. Astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson, a student of Sagan's who inherited the Cosmos series, confirms that because atoms come from the stars and make up our bodies, he feels connected to the stars and the universe. In the book Being Hindu by Hindal Sengupta, Tyson tells the author, that's really what you want in life. You want to feel connected. You want to feel relevant. You want to feel like you're a participant in the goings-on of activities and events around you. That's precisely what we are, just by being alive. I agree. By being alive, we are connected to something bigger than ourselves. And if, as Namaste suggests, divinity exists within all of us, whether literally or figuratively, then we connect on both scientific and spiritual levels. When Indra, Emerson, and Sagan walk into a celestial cafe in our imagination, they bring together different ideas, but one common theme, oneness. As it is written in the Bhagavad Gita, the truth is one. The wise call it by many names. We're all searching for understanding, for some meaning or purpose beyond our tiny lives. Call it what you will, ultimate reality, God, Brahman, the good, love, cosmic energy, the force, or some other name. No single name or path need claim supremacy. Hinduism and Unitarian Universalism both endorse such pluralism. Wisdom can be found in many places, so why not share what is found for the benefit of others? The truth is one, the wise call it by many names. Here we share common values while we embrace theological diversity. Unity in diversity. A perfect mantra for Unitarian Universalism. May we be one in peace and happiness.
Each week, we hold a time in our worship service for the sharing of significant joys or sorrows. If you have a personal joy or sorrow that you would like to share, you are invited to come forward and place a stone in the water, speak your name into the microphone, and briefly share your joy or sorrow. Let us enter into this time of tenderness and trust.
Hi, I'm Joël Bourgeois, and I have a sorrow that is wrapped up in a joy. About a year and a half ago, my brother and I realized that my mom's dementia had just escalated and she needed full-time care. Sorry, I'm okay. I just get emotional when I think about it. We moved her into a home that's close by here, close to me. And so when I visited yesterday, you can really see the disease progress, and it's sad. People say it's a cruel, until you live it, you have a loved one living it. It's really, really terrible. But then I met a group of women there. There are five of our moms, and so we've formed this group, and we have Zoom meetings. We talk. We support one another. So in that terrible sorrow, there's this joy that there's hope, and I call them the wonderful daughters, and that's what they are.
My name is Maureen O'Rourke, and my cousin Walter died. Walter was a police officer on the Providence Police Department for 27 years. And the last, I don't know how many years, he was a detective in the homicide division. After he retired, he went to in the spring to the Boston Red Sox camp, and he loved being down there in the springtime. I went to see Walter a few years ago, and he had a dog, the same kind as the Obamas have. And I said to Walter, I said, "So what's the name of your dog?" He says, "Eddie." I said, "Walter, nobody names a dog Eddie." He says, "You're going to remember that." So I'm going to put 2 stones in, one for my cousin and one for Eddie.
Good morning, I'm Jenny Warnash. I dropped 2 stones. One today is my mother's 80th birthday, so a very happy birthday to her. And the second stone, I am back in school at the UNC School of Nursing, and I graduate in May. And on Friday, I just accepted a job offer as an operating room nurse at the Ambulatory Surgery Center here in Chapel Hill, so I'm really excited about that.
Morning, I'm Alan. You all may know why I'm up here. So happy that I'm following a joy like that. So I'm up here because my wife did not call the paramedics yesterday, and I am still alive. And the UNC men's basketball team will be going to Philadelphia next week after David slain Goliath.
My name is Gerald Bonner, and for some of you that don't know, I'm with the American Red Cross at times. And the last part of our community service was to have a blood drive this past Thursday. 28 of you showed up, which met our goal of 100% donations, which means we've saved 100 lives.
Hi, I'm Rachel Force, and I don't think many of you have met me, but after literally a whole lifetime of searching, I found home, and I want to introduce myself to you because my children and I decided we're joining your church, so thank you.
Hi, I'm Sarah Clark Farnell, and on Friday, my twins received their second COVID vaccination, which is really, it took 2 tries, and it was extremely traumatic, but it got done, and it just makes me feel really grateful and happy.
Hi, I'm Amy, the physics Amy, and my dad died on Thursday. He's only 66. It was really unexpected, and nothing feels real right now.
This last stone is for all those joys and sorrows this morning that were unspoken, but they'll live in our hearts and are no less real.
Please join me for a moment in the spirit of prayer or meditation. Source of life and love, God of our hearts, love. We give thanks for all our joys, for creative cousins, for parents having birthdays, for graduations and jobs, for team success, for generosity in giving blood, and in finding new religious homes. May we celebrate all these joys together. For all our sorrows, so many parents facing dementia and children trying to manage. For the loss, so many losses that we have experienced during this pandemic. Too many sorrows to name. May we hold each other tenderly. May we do all that we can to ease the suffering of those in our community and well beyond these walls. The need is great, but kindness, love, and generosity go a long way. Go a long way. May we all experience that greater peace and happiness that all religions dream of. Please remain seated as we sing number 197 in your hymnal. It's not 97 as printed in the order service. Our opening hymn, number 44, was by Ralph Waldo Emerson. This meditation hymn is written by Rabindranath Tagore, who was a Hindu reformer and Nobel Prize winner.
Well, also, every time we do the chorus, there are numerous strings in your lute. Let me add my own among them. We'll do that twice and then go on to the verses. The verses are a little hard to find, so you see, but I'll trust you. There are numerous strings in your lute. Let me add my own among. Once again, the chorus. There are numerous strings in your lute. Let me add my own among. Now on to verse 1. Then when you smite your chords, my heart will break its silence, and my heart will be one with your song. Back to the chorus. There are numerous strings in my lute. Let me add my own. Once again, there are numerous. There are numerous strings in my lute. Let me add my own among them. Amidst your numberless stars, let me place my own little lamb. There are numerous strings in my lute. Let me add my own among them. There are numerous strings in my lute. Let me add my own among them. In the dance of your festival of lights, my heart will sing and my life will be one with your smile. There are numerous strings in your lute. Let me add my own among them. There are numerous strings in my lute. Let me add
I share the words of the Unitarian Universalist minister Yvonne Sagan from her meditation, All We Are One. It is from Voices from the Margins, an anthology of meditations. Each of us comes from a different place, yet all we are one. We carve for ourselves our own unique space, yet all we are one. We learn how to speak, eat, dress, cook, and play in different ways. Of common homeland, we have not a trace, yet all we are one. We kill, maim, and harm one another with no thought of God's will. We forget the one God and one grace, yet all we are one. On a mountain in East Africa near Olduvai Gorge, our common mother Eve says that we come from one human race, and all we are one. It is a simple message with a simple truth. Let's sing about our simple faith. Please rise in body or in spirit to sing our closing hymn. The words are in your order of service or online.
Life is a short embrace. Heaven is in this place every day. Hope is the ground we till. Make each day what you will. Thankful for dreams fulfilled every day. No room in this heart for fear. No judgment day drawing near. Trust that inner voice you hear every day. Life's not a goal, a race. It's about heart and faith and living a life of grace every day. Trust in an open hand, making an honest stand, rooted here in the land every day. Living in mystery, seeking the harmony in between you and me every day.
Whichever you like.
You are free to do what you want.
I invite you to join me in reading the words for extinguishing the chalice. You'll find the words in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the power of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And a reminder that the offering baskets are in the back of the sanctuary. So as you're standing in spirit or body, please sing our closing hymn, Shalom. If you would like to join hands with someone beside you, just put your hand down. If not, just put your hands over your heart. Shalom, my friend. Shalom, my friend. Shalom, shalom. We'll meet again. We'll meet again. Shalom. Shanti.